everyone. Having recently got into light painting and probably late to the party, I thought I would share with you my experience of building a light wand. So it cost me virtually nothing to make, and made it out of a piece of white PVC tubing, which is the kind of stuff that has been used on a waste on a sink sort of thing. And the only reason is because A, I had it knocking about, and B, when you using these things, you sort of get hold of them and sort of move them about like this sort of thing. Now, if you get something that is a little bit too thin or flimsy and it bends, when you get your light trails, right, you would have part of it where you're moving this fast, you would actually see it curve on your light trail. So you want something that's fairly substantial, and so either something like this, a decentish thick piece of wood like a broom handle. You could use a broom handle, you can buy those from hardware stores sort of thing, or just use an old broom. So this is a piece of white PVC. It's about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. I cut the top off at an angle like that. This is a metre long LED array, and it's got a wired remote, 3-button remote in it, and it goes to a USB, which is handy for this purpose. You could get the sort that need an actual dedicated power supply, but probably a little bit more involved in getting the battery pack and what kind of batteries you're going to use in the end of the pole. This is a sort of Anker power supply that I had knocking around. It's one of those power supplies you can charge your mobile phone with, and it's quite handy for this purpose. So what I did, I cut a slot in the end of the tube about 3 inches down, and then the power bank slides in there, and I've used a hot glue gun to secure the power bank in the end of my tube, so I can recharge the battery pack and I can plug in my array. And then basically I've hot glued the remote onto there, little cable tie around there. To make it a bit neater, could have actually drilled a hole in there big enough to get the USB plug through, which I might do yet. Put the USB plug through the hole, feed the cable inside there, you could. So anyway, you can hold it like that. To switch it on, just press the button, and then once you get to know the modes, you can change it. And this thing does many colours. The original idea for these things is sticking on back of your TV and light up the wall behind the TV. You can alter the speed of on these ones of how it changes. So there we go, really, that's it. So you set up the light that you want, as you can see there, and then go out in the dark, stand in front of your camera, use your, either get somebody to operate your camera in bulb mode, or stick it on a self timer for 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever you want. Put your ISO up to about somewhere between 320 and 800, I find works quite well, and an aperture of say f4 to f8. Depends how much ambient light you've got, and then you can play about with your wand. Try different colours, try it pulsing onto different colours. So there you go, homemade light wand. I'll put a link below for what this specific light array is, and also a power supply, but you should be able to do that for less than 20 quid. And I've sort of looked at what sort of things you can buy, and in the UK at the minute you're sort of looking at paying silly money for something like this, sort of 70 quid. So there you go, it's my homemade light array.